No. Oh, yes. Good. Strategy number one, but tool number one. Bill G. Yes. So you can't make contact with that unless you're wearing protective gear, which they're probably not going to do on day one. So they're doing a strike in which they do not get to make contact. Most important tool they can learn, so that's where we have to start them, but they're not making contact. What's tool number two?
No tool.
Kicking the balls.
It's fine.
Okay. Again, they still can't make contact. So the one downside that you're going to run into is if they're, especially if somebody's coming in and they're trying to compare what they're doing with you with somebody else, you're showing them all this gangster stuff, you're giving them strategy, you're giving them the best stuff possible, but they don't really get to hit something. For us, it doesn't matter because we can work all that and then put boxing gloves on and spar. But you can't have somebody spar, especially somebody that comes in that's shy, that's awkward, never trained before, they're not going to get that. So that's where I think focus mitts really holds a value, is if nothing else, if they don't pick up anything else out of the first day, if they come to you, you show them some cool strategy, some cool stuff, they get to hit something, and then they go to the cardio kickboxing class down the street and they get to hit something, at least they're not going to pick them over you just because they got to punch something. So that's why I think they're magical. The BS side of it is that you can't get too carried away. I think a lot of people can overdo focus mitts and spend way too much time. And I've had a lot of talks with Sifu about this. It's been kind of like a controversial topic that we've discussed often on how much should it be done, should it be used at all? Because there's negatives if you overtrain it. We do very little. It's not a big thing, but it is important for the things that he discussed. So why? Gonna right? Real quickly, do a jab cross on a focus mitt. I'm sorry, do a cross hook. Okay, now without killing me, do a cross and a hook on my face. But really touch me. Guess the thing, it's not real. Nothing I can do that's gonna make this completely real. He has to move differently when he's hitting me than these pads. I would have to like make the pad like this for my head. So it can get really carried away, especially when you start standing there doing long combinations. So that's just things to keep in mind. It's important, do it, but don't let it be overdone. So 5 gates. You guys all remember the 5 gates lesson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, there's the gates. That's what we're going through. So this is going to be a 5-gate program. He's going to be working secondary attack. The main thing is, I think the importance is putting in the trapping, because you want to be able to have people hitting stuff. You want to be able to do the boxing. People love to hit and they love to box, but you don't want to look like everybody else. We're Jeet Kune Do. We're different, especially our Jeet Kune Do. So we want to make sure the trapping is a part of it. So that would be some ways he could come in with primary, but like I said, either way, so yin and yang. We can use focus mitts to simulate sparring and moving around for someone that's not ready for sparring yet. We can also use focus mitts for tool isolation, which is probably what he's done with me the most, or done with Bev the most. So tool isolation would be if I want to work with Gunner on his cross, I hold the mitt and I do the cross like that. If we're up on our toes moving around, that's the other side of it. So there's 2 ways we can play it. But regardless, there's an element of aliveness. Here's what I mean. In there. Okay, work the cross. Ready? Yeah. Okay, he's trained with me too long, so he already knows. But still, I'll make it better. Now watch. Ready? And work the cross. Don't move yet. Sorry. Isolation. Even just that much difference. Even if we're not moving, if I'm not moving, I'm not punching at him, I'm not doing footwork, I'm not doing anything, just the way that I approach it. So if you want the person that you're feeding to feel real, give them something real to look at. Nobody in the fight is gonna walk up and stand like this and feed mitts, but yet this is what I see all the feeders do. So I want to create that's what he's gonna see. So I need to give him that feel before he does anything. So walk up to him, give him that feel, even if I'm just gonna stand here and work on the technique, but do it with that intent. Put your shin out there so he feels it, so you're working it realistically. That's the aliveness from a still point. So I'm gonna start you guys on, I'm gonna skip the straights, I'm gonna come back to them in a second, but I'm gonna start you guys on the hooks, just in case we don't get all the way through, because we've already worked some of the straight stuff in the other sessions. So number 1 would be straight down the pipe with the jab. Number 2 is gonna be the cross. 3 is the hook. 4 is the hook. A lot of you guys have seen this pattern that we've gone through. I'm gonna start it straight on the hook though, okay? So I'll fire the hook line, you just go and show it, and then we'll break it down. Okay, so first off, if you take that back to your school, even that, and you try to do that right there with the entire class, you're gonna have a SHAT show. Getting this. So how do we do this? That's the most important part. We have to be able to break this down for all levels. So if you have somebody and they're trying to do an entry, they're trying to do follow-ups, but the person doesn't know what a cross is, you're gonna have a mess. And getting too much reps when they don't even have the good form, they're just gonna build bad habits. So, 2 things that can be done. If they just completely don't even know how to punch, we could just work on any of the punches singled out, that's obvious, but I still like to start it with the secondary attack idea, with me firing. So, just start with the first shot. So what am I doing? I'm coming around for the hook. That's the bill sow. You guys already worked this. She's taking the bill sow right there on that mitt. This one's coming in. Key thing to remember though is that she's trying to hit this mitt. Just fire it. That's her shot. She wants to beat me. It will probably hit same time. If she was really late and this hit and then that came, that's not what you're going for, but it's still the same idea. But she wants to try to beat me. If she tries to beat me, it will probably hit around the same time. That could also be a chun choi. I like the gua choi better, especially on the focus mitt. It just comes in a little cleaner, a little easier to hold for, but whatever you guys prefer. Now, notice, watch your feet. Don't move this time. That's gonna kill it right there. So the footwork has to be there. Now also me, I don't wanna be like this. I need to go forward too. So there's a collision between us. That's what makes it very important to have a connection between feeder and the other person. If you guys try to feed this to Sifu, you gotta like really have this hand ready, because he's gonna erupt into your space so much earlier. Because as soon as you start to move, he's already coming in, and that's the feel that you want. So I gotta know that from her. I need to go in and give her a real feel, but she's gonna be coming into me at the same time. So she's coming in right as that's happening. Okay, so if you have somebody that they're a little earlier in their training, they can't do a whole lot yet, we're just gonna isolate this. They may not always get it. Sometimes they just cover. Sometimes they cover it and then they still fire that one back. That's okay, but they know they're trying to get that. Okay, for those of you that have that already and know that, then here's the follow-up. So there's the bill sow. She's gonna come in with a cross, a hook, and a cross. And that's your first combo. Any questions?
No.
All right, let's start with that, and I'll run through the other gates to show you how we start mixing it up.
Sir.
Get the faster going. And finish the combo. There we go. Try a couple, we're trying to beat it. Right. So let's go here. Get this one first.
You guys get the essence more than the combos. I mean, we can shoot videos and send you guys videos of the combos. It's just learning different patterns. But the real essence behind what we're trying to work is the most important thing. So, Sifu really changed this up for me the last time that we worked it, because when we first started doing this, we were also doing Ung Moon, which a lot of you guys know. So everything was straight. And the straight still works if you're beating it. Like if you're really jumping the gun and you get the interception, that's cool. Take the chunchoy. But when I really felt the most connection of my lat was from kind of over exaggerating it. So I want you guys to feel that real quick. So get right here and turn this hand out for a bill sow, and then shoot your lead chunchoy out and just see how that feels. So just feel that a couple times. Now we're gonna super over exaggerate, but if you look, I'm gonna bring my hands here, which is also a position that you guys have been seeing for transition. So just for a second, over exaggerate, over cross your hands, and then now from here, feel that. So over cross, and do you feel the pull in the lat now? Whenever we went to that pull just made, like now I could fire it with the chun and I can still feel the pull, but I couldn't get the lat connection when I was trying to fire this one straight and this one there. But for whatever reason, when I kind of came through here and then made that feel, everything clicked. You guys feel that? Yeah. So even from here, I'm not gonna bring my hands here before I go, but as you're moving around, it's that same idea rather than that. Okay. So as we start to amp it up, the more and more I see the person that I'm feeding, the more and more I see them get comfortable, the more and more I'm going to try to screw that up. And I'm also going to keep reminding them to stay comfortable. So you got to give them reminders. You got to remind them to breathe. You got to remind them to stay relaxed. As soon as they start staying relaxed, then you're going to kick them, or then you're going to do something else that's going to make them think again, and then the process starts over. But that's what you have to do. If you're holding the mitts for that moment, you're the coach. You got it. It doesn't matter if the person you're feeding even is senior to that person in the class. For that moment, when you have the mitts on your hand, you're the coach. So you have to operate as the coach. So remind the person that's punching. Remind them to breathe as they're moving around and as they're striking. And remind them to stay relaxed. Very easy to get really tense with this stuff, and it's not gonna come off the way you want it to. Okay, and everybody remember progression ideas. So before I go to the next combo, somebody super beginner, do not have them do the whole combo. We would start with, that's all she would do. I'm like, okay, she does that a little bit, you're circling back around, you're like, okay, yeah, you got that down. Now, add a cross in. So she gets that. Okay, now come back with the hook. So build it. Don't try to go and get the whole thing right out of the gate, or again, you're gonna have everybody doing 4 or 5 hits, but it's 4 or 5 sloppy hits. You would rather have them do one good interception with no follow-up than a follow-up that's sloppy. Make sense? Okay, let's look at that second angle. So now I'm coming, don't react yet. I'm coming in here with the rear hook. And again, when you're feeding these hooks, these are swings. Okay, I'm not feeding her a tight hook because she's not in that range. She's not in that space. So from here, looping like that. Don't react yet. Back. And make sure that you calibrate that range. Don't feed it short or she's gonna be stepping into something that she should have just got out of the way of. Okay, now go ahead. So you can see her shot real slow. It's same exact move. Bills out with the other hand, the opposite hand hits. Notice the shift. Do it without a shift. See, that's what we can't have. That's gonna make you stiff and it's not gonna work. Then you're just gonna get mowed over. So look at her feet, where the feet are gonna drop and then the hips drop. You hear it? Like you can see the power, right? That's the connection that she's looking for. She wants to rock me on this first shot. It's not just a cover and a hit. She's coming into me, wants to get me knocked back. She's ready to go. Okay, so we're here. Same exact move. Only difference is the follow-up. Last time the next follow-up hit was the cross. She's already fired the rear hand, so now from here instead, she's gonna come back with a hook. Now across. Just end on the cross. Come in deeper for the last cross. There we go. Move, breathe. Relax. Got it? Same move, opposite side. All right, let's go. So teach the attack strategies and everything that you can so they get it. What I'm trying to tell you is don't just go to the section that Sifu taught you where he's teaching you attack strategies with goji and doing the kick to the groin. And it's like, okay, this is where you're gonna learn these methods of attack. and then it's like a completely separate program over here where it's like, okay, now we're gonna do some focus mitts for boxing and to have fun. Make it connect as much as possible, as many connections as you can to make that connect so that they're learning it in everything they do. Teach them the strategy as much as possible. So why we talked about the breath, that should be the most important thing that you're reminding them to. Teaching them to be still, relax, but also reminding them that we're doing secondary attack. If you were doing a primary attack entry, reminding them of that. They're learning the 5 gates. So you're teaching in that 5-gate principle with focus mitts as well. So all that's plugged into this series is why it's really good. Okay, Gunner. I'm gonna go back to the high straights. That's what I should have started with normally. I just skipped them because that's where you guys had the most options. You've already worked a lot of different options of what we can do to the jab and the cross. So I'm gonna come back to those at the very end, as long as we have time, but just in case we didn't have time, I wanted to go to the other angles first. Okay, so I'm gonna go to a jab and cross now, but I'm gonna give him the low jab. Okay, so when I come in for the low jab, he's gonna do a hop pok. So it's just a downward pok, and he's coming in with the chun choi right there. And now, this hand is already loaded, that he did the pok with, come right in for another chun choi. So that comes in on a half beat. Give me those, that para. Okay. Here's the time. It's not, see how you retracted in between? So it goes right from one into another. Now, if I was not there, so if I wasn't committed to my jab and don't react to it, just stand there. If I was doing something like that, and like he wasn't really there, then of course, if he took the talk on that and I was gone, he would turn that and just take it into a cross. So do that. So that's why, see the differences? That's why it would be a cross, as if I was not there, he would need the cross for the range. But ideally, that shouldn't happen because of his footwork, because he's entering. If he stands still, it's easy for me to come in and be gone. But he's attacking my attack. So now, go for it. See, it's harder for me to get out of there, because he's attacking me as I'm coming in. Okay, now, see where he's at. Look at the position, coiled, ready to go. So what's coming next? What's the next shot?
Cross or hook?
The hook. So you got to be able to pause, look at the position so your students can see the load. Every student should be able to look at this and see that he's loaded. The hook is the natural shot that's got to come. So that way they understand the shifting. Okay, so now take it up to the hook. And then see how he still moves his head, even though he's not even doing another shot, but the head's still moving regardless. Okay, so we move around, and you can go all the way through. Good. Now, I was going to go until that happened. You see how he wasn't ready for one? Sometimes he's not ready. Sometimes his feet were kind of together. He was in the middle of a footwork transition. He didn't have base and balance to go. No problem. It's natural. Just move through it. It's very important that you don't try to make it perfect where everyone works. So just keep firing it. Because I caught him off guard, so I hit him. So I'm going to come in again. And I'm just keep giving him the reps until he finds it. Don't pause and try to reset or think you need to adjust. Just keep firing through until they get it. If you're mixing up the angles for somebody in the beginning, if they mess one up, feed them the same one so they can get a good rep. Don't end it on a bad rep. But right now you're just isolating this one. Okay? So that's the jab. I'll give you the cross. Same time, because these are pretty self-explanatory, same idea. If I go to the other hand, rear hand traps down, that fires in. Just like before, the only difference, well actually no difference here. Yeah, sorry, there's no extra hit on this side, so he's gonna come right back with the hook. So when we went jab, he got an extra little chun choi in before the hook. When I go for the cross, it's there. Okay, so jab. And cross. Okay, now mix them up. Listen to the breath. And then always fire at him when he's leaving. See, I still filled one. That wasn't a feed. I wasn't feeding that for him to do a response. That was to make sure that he was covering, protecting, getting back out. So we started on the high gates, outsides with the hooks. We moved down to the center. Now we're gonna attack gates 3 and 4 to the body with the body hooks. Almost exactly the same idea. Our arm just has to turn down to cover that line. So as I'm coming here, she turns it down. Now, because of this line, this is not just a body hook. That's also representing a grappling line, me coming in for a shoot. It's the same thing. If I'm coming in to try to grab her, if I drop super low, that'd be different. It's going all the way down. But coming in for any kind of a body tackle, anything like this, it's the same line as me coming right there and trying to take the hook to the body. Okay, so because we're thinking about the grappling, doesn't matter if they're trying to hook or not, we're realizing that the grappling line is there. For this one, she wants to fire the uppercut. Very important we get the uppercut in so that if I'm coming in, she gets this first shot and then the next shot is already intercepting that line. So she's filling it. Whether I was shooting or not, it's being filled. If they are shooting, they're gonna run right into it. Okay, so from here, slow. There. Now, the uppercut, I can hold this one. You guys will find you'll catch one of them easier than the other. I started to just not even hold for either of them, just because I like the way it lets her really throw through and gives me kind of some space. So from there, I'm pulling away. She's gonna fire a free uppercut in the air. I could have caught it, okay, but either way, I prefer not to. And then from here, you see she's coiled, loaded into her hip, and now ready to launch into the hook and the cross. Okay, so all together, ready? The first time I caught the uppercut, second time I just moved. I felt like her mechanics looked better on the second one because it let her really flow through. You find your preference. But to catch the hook, you will have to be faster, and it's going to require more adjustments of the mitt feeds, especially for if you have your students trying to feed each other. This is where they get tangled. So the more that we can make the position the same, if I don't hold for the uppercut, literally all I have to do is fire this, back up, and just bring this to here. See what I'm saying? So from a feeding simplicity, that's where I would go. Okay, let's do it a couple times. Okay, so that is the lead hook. Rear hook, same thing. It's just the opposite side coming in right there. So you just catch this one here. Now rear uppercut, you're almost never, I'm sorry, this is lead uppercut. You're almost never gonna catch that one, so don't even attempt that one. Just get out of the way. She's gonna fire it. There's the cross. You can come back with another cross.
Sorry.
Sorry. Now mix them up, lead. Good. Okay. So, one time she even got the interception, she didn't feel balanced to come forward. She caught me in the mouth instead of my mitt, so it still worked, it was good. She just didn't feel comfortable following it up. So, it's fine. Like I said, every beat doesn't have to be there. You don't have to finish the combination. Okay, so let's get, that was the low, we did the lows. We did the low jab. So, okay, so all you guys are missing are the first two. Remember, I did this out of order. So normally you guys will teach this with these two first. So we're gonna do the high jab and the high cross, and that's what we'll end it on. So, when I go for the high jab, she's gonna come inside with the chun choi. Ready? The rear hand, go punch, switch the feet, you feed me. So, you have to curve. This hand is coming here, the body's turning. You're not trying to stay like this. So she's curving inside. Okay, this hand can take it slightly down, slightly out. It's gonna depend on their length and where your hand goes. But she's not trying to really push it down. She really doesn't even concern herself with this hand as much as the one that's hitting me in the face. That's the most important thing. If ideally my hand wouldn't even make it, she just drills me and then that's it. The hand is up, just for extra protection. So the focus is getting this shot down that line coming in as a split. See her angle. Footwork again, she's coming in, but she's coming in at just a slight angle. So do the shot and then freeze and don't keep moving out. No. Do it with the good angle, but then freeze. So look, I didn't punch over here. I didn't punch to the side, I punched straight. That's where she moved herself to. She came inside of the shot. Okay, now, from there, go ahead and follow it up. There's the next hit. Okay, she threw a cross. You could throw another chun choy if you wanted to make it more like a blast. Okay, that would give you a quick shot. Obviously, you gotta watch that line. So one's gonna be a little bit quicker. If she throws the cross, then do it the way you like to do it. Now she's protected for the hook, but it's a little bit slower. So you can do it with the chun choy if you like the blast, coming in like that, and then go right into the boxing, or she can take it right to the cross, depending on preference. Okay, so from here, but then always coming back and finishing with the boxing. Hear the breathing, way she's coming in, when she's leaving, killing, firing something just to make sure she's still alive. Worst thing you can see your students do is come up to the mitts, do a combination, finish, and then so like that drop of relief, like I'm done, I did the combination, because that's when they get knocked out. So don't let them build that habit. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right, last one, I'm gonna throw the cross. She's gonna come inside on the cross. Okay, now there's a couple options here. Give me the cross. Okay, so one would be to take the gunting. Take the destruction on the inside. We don't do that one on the outside anymore because it runs too much risk with the elbow, but on the inside of it, all day, okay? The other option is if you wanted to work it more like the bilji, but do not fire the bilji when your partner is when the feeder's feeding you focus mitts, because they're gonna get too worried about running into your eyes. It's gonna mess up the intent. So if she gives me the cross, this comes under. Okay, so it's coming under the bridge just like that. You see where my hand gets to? So it's right there, look, bam. So I have the bilji, I just didn't take it so that the feeder can feel comfortable really coming in and committing to you. Okay, so this can come inside of that, or you can take it more Filipino style and take that. That's, again, personal preference. So, slowly, she comes inside of that. Now, look at this hand. The hand that she parried it with is loaded. That fires a rear back fist. Again, look at the load. She's now ready for the hook. And finishing with the cross. Okay, so. Okay, this will be one of the more difficult ones. So isolate it, get that one down, but then as soon as you have it, we'll start to put them together. So I'll show you what it looks like with all of it together, so that way you guys can go play. I don't want to break you again. Okay, so ready, Beth? We're gonna do every angle. I'll start nice and slow.